to Twitter and type in life update.
A lot of people.
And
we making whole ass threads, bro.
Let me look at
whole ass threads.
Let me look at everybody's life updates.
That's what Facebook was used before. People started just sharing.
People just took Facebook to Twitter and put all the threads.
Honestly,
there.
I remember the days of middle school where people, because Twitter wasn't widely used back then. We're talking like 2010, 2011, when I made accounts behind my parents' back and shit.
Yeah.
Where it was like you would literally see people updating, all the. All day, every day, my fucking math homework, because your friends would be your only friends you'd see in school, and it's like all day, every day what they were doing.
Mm-hmm. But I think the other thing was the platform kind of started off with like access to celebrities, like you could actually tweet at fucking people, and it was still so new that they would tweet you back.
They
Shout out to Joe Budden.
They wouldn't respond.
It depends.
But it still gave you a sense of, I'm connected.
Yeah, exactly.
Twitter was savage as fuck.
And at the same time, that kind of becomes empty after a while. That's why I don't follow.
That's why it came empty. Yeah, that's why.
Where it's like now you have these. Anyone who has a blue tick mark on their Twitter feed is automatically deemed as important. When you actually go on their feed, it's like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever read. This is
it's really easy to get verified.
Yeah, it's really easy to get verified. Exactly. So, that's kind of why I.
So
yeah,
I guess give a little history about yourself before I
make. You say give a little
formal...
history one more goddamn. You say that almost as much as you say about the math.
I'm trying to get to this announcement.
As far as your history,
at the end of the day,
as far as your history,
regarding
tell us a little bit about yourself.
Regarding my past, I guess, and I guess current. So as I said, Sebastian Schug, I actually work as a freelance publisher over in Burbank. So cusp of LA, thank God, just out of it.
Like a book publisher?
Publisher, magazine, audiobook, essentially any kind of medium that produces material to be purchased to read. I know that sounds very general, but that doesn't encapture things like blogs and other like social media type shit. It's mainly in the realm of, ebooks, audiobooks, physical books. You see it in a Barnes & Noble. Great, You
help put it there.
But it's both contractually and independently a position of mine. So while I'll publish books on like my own, storytelling and illustration, I'll also be contracted by people to publish their books, just first and foremost. So I have a client right now, super sweet old man. Oh, I want my book out. All right. Lock and load. So that's just kind of a little bit of background on myself. I'm still really big into the arts, video making, not so much songwriting, but I'll dabble here and there.
That's cool.
But it's mainly like text, audio, publishing. There you go. See where it leads.
Fantastic.
So, thank you.
And so how did you guys link up?
So we met through going to CSUN together. We were both in Greek life together, so that was kind of how we both met with each other. We had a lot in common. We hit it off a lot better than a lot of the guys from the rest of your Rush class, to be brutally honest. But
sub dis.
It was it's okay.
No, main dis.
Yeah,
direct dis.
Look,
on the first
direct
book
shot.
of the page.
Look, that's the fucking preface, man. Like, it gets to such a point where it's like, you meet up with a bunch of guys. You're coming together, as one class, and
Freudian slip. Go ahead, Mancini. You want to say it?
Just say it, man.
Say your signature line. Bam.
Yeah, I don't know.
My signature line.
You literally always say Freudian slip. Whatever.
That's not even my signature line.
That's literally your line. You say
you think that people coming together, to be a part of something great would be, as great as it sounds, and you find souls like these, Mancini, where it's like, wow, you actually do have something in common.
More passive voice.
About time.
Sebastian and I will be
on the verge of
podcast. Isn't there like a?
I'm sorry, your build-up was just so long.
It was
That's because I get interrupted every other word.
I mean, I got to admit,
no one interrupted you. We let you get it off.
I got to admit, as your co-host, that was a little drawn out.
It was a little bit deflating. Just a smidgen.
Wow.
No, but I think it's...
That was an accident, but that came out smooth.
No, but yeah, we are starting our own podcast, specifically delegated into the arts, humanities, and more so acting as a platform for other content creators who typically fall under the radar. I mean, especially on our campus. Well, you're graduated.
Yeah. The idea, so the name of the show, we're calling it Mars on Life. That is the name of the show. It's kind of a, little David Bowie, little Watchmen references there. But it's, the whole point is the two of us are kind of building a platform to deliver commentary, but also create kind of an artist collective. And that could be anything involving, artists like sculptors and painters, but it could be acting, it could be publishing, writing, poetry, music, journalism, all of the above. And I think that's something that, even though there's the risk of oversaturation in a place like Los Angeles, there's people that fall through the cracks. And there's people that they deserve to get some kind of recognition and they have a voice. And on top of that, they're creating something that is not only good for people, but it also reflects kind of the world that we live in, and it gives a bit of dialogue as to why they create the content that they make. And I think that's something that we already pre-recorded our first episode. We kind of talked a little bit about the whole American Dirt controversy and how that's basically, we want to do the opposite of what happened with that book. We want to elevate people that bring themselves, but bring a voice that talks about issues that not only are relevant to we're starting our own podcast
that stop content creating that still fall under the radar. So giving that representation we feel is very important, but also just to bounce off of those ideas with other individuals. It does give that refreshing air. Again, your major was journalism. And mine is communications. I already know a large number of people who, would effectively be us. There are content creators who won't.
It was a lot easier to do than it was, okay, we need to put this out onto a weekly edition, and it needs to be able to sit there for 7 days, and somebody picks it up on Tuesday before the new one comes out, and there's still some relevance to it.
Yeah.
So that's when they kind of made the shift to more of, for lack of a better word, magazine type of thing, a zine, I guess you could call it.
I think it's more like that. It's more of a magazine now.
It's definitely more of a magazine now than it was there, but I already called that from the jump that was the move.
That was what I thought too around that time. I was like, I've seen this before.
That was kind of that in daily print.
Extracurricular activity. And had I not met you, I wouldn't have been here, right?
Yeah.
But we feel that artists that desperately you can rate. Like, I mean,
when they're walking to class, wherever they're going, and so they want to just have that touch point of like, you have to find that common denominator.
No, of course,
right?
You do have to find that niche, and I think we both sort of silently agreed that we wanted to keep it low.
So
he's just gotten started in its newest form, I think, since November. He's also built up a fan base, go to places. Looking at my new work schedule, there's a chance I might miss the Democratic Convention, which was kind of an idea of mine, but nevertheless, we'll go cover things.
Greater Los Angeles, I feel like you can't throw a rock without hitting you can't swing a dead rat without hitting at least.
But like, are you reaching these people? Are you reaching this million people? This sicker people in Santa Clarita? Like, are you reaching those people? No,
I would say if you honed it even in like the SCV, like that's. Well, hey, look.
There's actually a lot of successful people from SCV.
But you got to understand, if you have that, little fish in a big pond mentality, you're always going to come up with like a negative, glass half empty.
Out of everyone on this table, I know how that media landscape works, and that's part of the interest of having this podcast is that there were a lot of people up there that I would encounter who, they would do oil painting or whatever, but the way it does, and we're, trust me, we have our idea kind of settled on. We're only, the episode still needs to air, so we're still, getting all the little dents out of the armor as we go along. But we're going to make sure we build and grow, and of course, part of the inspiration for even having the show is listening to the two of you guys say, like, oh, you should have a podcast. I know Kenny said that too. No. Well, here's the other thing.
Get your mans, bro. Get your man.
You just literally said we're an unsuccessful podcast. Like, how do I come back from that? Like, how do I just be like, yeah, so about touchdown or turnover? Like, no.
But I mean, we're not even really a podcast. We're like a talk show distributed as a podcast.
That's what I was going to say. We've kind of stopped being a podcast a long time. Like 100 episodes.
But don't you think that's a good direction for, at least your show to go in?
As far as
somewhat, it makes it challenging because you're both balancing a live element and you're also trying to make it on demand.
I think that the issue with us is like we wanted the success. We wanted podcast success, but our content
resources pushed us towards radio.
Yeah, it pushed us towards radio,
which I don't think should be looked upon as like a negative. I think it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, you use the medium that you have, but we
just never intended to really be talent.
Mm-hmm.
And
we were talented. We're talented, but we always wanted.
And the way kind of radio works is it's kind of based on the talent, just based on the lowest common denominator is usually based off the talent.
Okay.
So I mean, it's just kind of what we're working with. We're just trial by fire, honestly.
We're pretty much a hybrid that wants to do a bunch of other things.
Which is
we're
great.
Trying to at one piece at a time perfect certain things.
Yeah.
And we're trying. Okay, Pete. Jeez.
Well, you guys make it seem like you guys have gone through hell and back. I think you guys are doing a pretty good job.
We're pretty good at faking it.
But
we're pretty good at faking it.
It's hell and back.
A lot of people look up to us, but we're just
bro, this
making
could end any day.
We're just making it happen.
And one other thing I'll point out is the fact that Sebastian and I, how many years ago was it that we did that kind of ghost the episode that'll never?
Yeah, it was really quite interesting. My parents, my parents were gone for the summer, so I had the whole house to myself, and
that's how the porno starts.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, man, most people come over and get a pod.
Most people would make the most of it, have a party, maybe make some bad choices. No, we just decided that one day we were going to have a podcast, upload it to YouTube of all places, which I highly don't recommend.
Only if you're going to do video.
Only if you're going to do.
It's up on YouTube.
It has to be a whole production. You have to treat it like a TV show
yeah.
if you're going to do that.
It was about a 3-hour long bit, but damn. I feel like that we genuinely had some good talking points, and we said right then and there after we hit the stop record button was, where do we go from here? And I think it kind of just fussed around in our minds where it was like, well, shit, we don't know how to set it up. We don't even have the equipment. I did because I do audiobooks, but the thing is, he didn't. And it was just kind of that moment where one day we went out for lunch and it was like, you know what? It's not the fact that it's like you said, oh, well, anyone can do it. I strongly feel like anyone can, not everyone should, because a lot of people just don't have shit to talk about.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
And that's kind of like the pods out there that are trying to save America. Right?
and that's just
ooh,
and that's just the big thing.
Damn, that was a lot.
Jesus, man.
Where's the gunshot? See, they took my shotgun away. That's what I'm really mad about. I had a shotgun blast. Like, how hard we for a year we couldn't.
Still have the shotgun blast. Relax. The mouse just doesn't work.
Okay.
But we just
when I get it, I will play Now That.
Next 20 minutes. The next 20 minutes of the show next week is just going to be sound effects and us just cursing in the background. But yeah.
No, it was
Pablo Trap House?
Lol.
We will literally get this episode flagged.
I'm sorry. I'm just making random names.
I'll make a shout out to them too.
You're chilling, but I mean,
are they going to shout us out though? That's the real question.
All right, let him continue.
We're damn near going over.
No, basically, it was we decided one day, hey, we're doing this. It's either now or never. I feel like we have at least we don't have all the insight, but we have enough insight as both a soon-to-be, thank God, college graduate and recent college graduate. So
you guys are like the white political version of us.
Yeah. Are we trailblazers?
You know what? That thought has crossed my mind.
Like literally
numerous times. You're the white version of me.
I forgot skinny. The skinny white political version of us.
We don't have a muscle to save our lives.
But you have mental muscle. You have mental muscle.
Mental muscle.
That might be a segment.
A little bit.
Mantini. It's okay.
Hey, man.
But yeah, man, I think you got
The sweater fits me, but it really doesn't. I don't have to lie.
You guys have the voice. You guys have the
Chemistry between the two
I
of you.
hate that word.
It's synergy.
I would say
Synergy.
dynamic.
Kombucha.
I like dynamic better.
We're white, but we're not hipsters, Ken.